the Sony PlayStation. It's a PlayStation 1. This is a console I've never really had much love for because I never had one back in the day and I kind of never really wanted one. I really went from the Amiga and then over to the PC, and then the PlayStation came out around about the era that, the Amiga was dying and that the PC was forming. So I kind of skipped over the PlayStation thing and then never owned one since. But I've acquired this PlayStation from a junk pile. What? So it'd be interesting to take a look at it, especially if you want to look at one from a point of view of someone who has never really had one and doesn't have much nostalgia for it. But on the whole, I think it's a pretty neat little thing. I don't think this is the original PlayStation. Yeah, I looked it up, and this is basically, there was 3 revisions of the original PlayStation, and I think you can tell from the back, this one is the second revision, so it's halfway cost reduced. I think the original one has some composite output ports there, so it's got composite and audio, like RCA phono jacks, and they took that off in this version to make it more cost effective. And then in the third version, the even more cost reduced version, looks like they took this parallel I/O port off as well. Yeah, so if you take a look at the back, it's got AC in, it's got AV multi-out, serial I/O, and parallel I/O. Notice that I think it's a Sony thing where everything has to be some kind of custom connector. There's no way you're going to use a standard connector if you're Sony. Apart from the AC in, you've just got to use a custom one. But the original PlayStation, it looks like there was 3 versions. The original one had RCA phono jacks and composite output there, and to cost reduce it a bit, they've taken those jacks off. And I think so. This is the second revision, and then the third revision, they took this parallel I/O port off as well. So I don't know if that was only used for like playing games like Serial Link, or maybe there was some peripherals you could plug in there. I'm not exactly sure. But the third, you can tell this is a second revision because it's got none of the jacks there and it still has that port. So the original one has got even more ports, but this one doesn't. And it's a PAL version, made in Japan. All the best stuff's made in Japan.
All the best stuff is made in Japan.
Unbelievable.
So there it is, model number SCPH7502, PAL version. Serial number for those playing along at home, that's B1489314. And what else we've got to say about that? Not a lot really underneath other than that. Class 1 laser product. It's got a CD drive in it. That was pretty cool for the day. And this was found on a junk pile. So if we take a look inside, maybe you can't see this, it's got a copied game in it. WWF SmackDown 2 PSX. So this is a pirate game that was found in here. So this was on a junk pile basically. So I don't know anything about it, but I'm assuming that this has got some kind of chip in it. It's had some mod done to it to allow it to play copied games. I remember I used to go to Bowler's Computer Market in Manchester. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was called Bowler's because it was in a bowling alley called Bowler's, I think. And I remember back in the day, probably around about the 2000s era, or some point at that point, I think maybe even before then. I can't remember what year it was I used to go, but there'd be a guy sitting there at a table and he'd just have a big stack of PlayStations and he'd be chipping them, like doing these mods to them. But I never had one of these back in the day. I knew people chipped them, but yeah, there was just a guy just sitting there blatantly chipping them in front of everyone, and people bring their PlayStation in and you probably pay him like 20 quid or something. But yeah, that was a thing back in the day, chipping these things. So I don't know if this thing works, but we're going to try and hook it up and get it to work. But yeah, I hated Sony for this. I had a Sony camera that had these it didn't have USB on it, even though it had a USB cable, but the connector on the camera was just some horrible custom thing. And they've done the same thing on this where they've just put horrible custom connectors on it. And yeah, just everything I had that was Sony, like they did their own memory stick format and everything. It was just like, oh, come on, Sony, please just use USB or something. I mean, USB was only just arriving at this point, so they weren't going to put it on here, but they were very much into like making custom connectors, so that meant that you'd have to buy, custom cables and stuff. Nowadays, we're kind of like spoilt with USB and HDMI and DisplayPort and things like that. But back then, it was just like every time you got a different machine, it had different stuff on it. I mean, what is that? I don't even know. It's got to be something they just made up and went, right, we're making our own connector. And there's probably a good reason for it. I will say probably, but I don't know. And Serial I/O, it's got so many pins in it. It's like it's got like 10 pins in there. So Don't know what's going on. So I do have some other peripherals that didn't come with this. I've got some joypads and stuff, but I'm going to hook this up now, and we're going to give it a go. Oh, by the way, there's the joystick ports as well. And that was a thing that everyone was doing back in the day, was building their own custom joystick ports as well. So you can see this is like a 9-pin joystick like we used to have, but it's just got some horrible custom thing. And to be fair, Microsoft did the same thing on the original Xbox. They basically what had was USB controllers, and they just made a custom connector for it, just so they could make all the controllers incompatible. That now has stopped, and and now I think at least Microsoft and Sony are saying, well, you can take your controllers through to the next console. Actually, I think Sony were pretty good for that, allowing you to take your controllers to the next console. But at the time, it was like, oh yeah, chuck away your console and then chuck away all the peripherals as well. But I think that's at least stopped now. So they were dark times when you were making you throw away all your stuff every time you bought something new. But now it's all about compatibility these days, because they want to keep you in the ecosystem and keep you buying their stuff. So it works for us and it works for them. So there you go. But yeah, these were the dark times. By the way, their own custom memory card as well. Even though they had a memory stick, maybe that wasn't out back then. I don't know. I could be making that up, but got its own custom memory card too. Again, they were all doing that, not just Sony. But I do like to pick on Sony for that. You can see I've got no nostalgia for this thing, but it does look nice. It's not been cleaned up or anything. Let's plug it in and give it a go. See what we get. Oh, and this came off the junk pile too. This is the connector. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the connector. And I've got a SCART thing, so I'm going to hook this up to the OSSC, and hopefully that can display it, because I suppose the PlayStation is like a 240p-ish console, I don't know. Actually even got the original cable there as well. We'll try it with this nice pink controller, which probably works with it. I don't think this came off the junk pile. This one I borrowed. But hey, let's give it a go. And I've actually got some games to try out. I'm not going to try all of these on this video, but we've got Quake 2, Theme Hospital, Oh No More Lemmings, which I'm currently playing on the Amiga, Red Alert, which is a fantastic game, played that on the PC, and Carmageddon, also a fantastic game on the PC, probably rubbish here. But yeah, I've got these These I've borrowed off Lockman Goat, and he's going to get these back, hopefully, unless I really, really like the PlayStation, and then he won't get the back ever, and they're mine. But I've got a funny feeling that I didn't like the PlayStation back in the day because, moving from the Amiga, it was way better than Amiga, but we'd already moved to the PC, and the PC was like way better than this. But the takeaway about the PlayStation was it was mega cheap. So yeah, it wasn't trying to do what a PC could do, but a PC was like £1,000. At the time this came out, a PC was well over £1,000.
I shouldn't think you'll get much change out of £1,000 and all said and done. £1,000? I should say about £1,000. It's too much, £1,000.
And this thing was probably a couple of hundred. So it fitted in exactly where it needed to, and it's incredibly successful for it. But it was one of those things that, like, once you've seen PC graphics and you've played PC games, and then you went to this, you'd be like, oh no, this is just a lesser experience, but certainly a more accessible experience, a cheaper experience, and definitely more compact than a PC. Right, let's stop talking and plug it in. Yes. Well, if this doesn't work, it's going to be a short video, but we'll see. Let's get rid of WWE SmackDown 2, and let's put something else in. Well, let's just leave it without a CD in for now, and we'll see what we get. Let's plug the pink Joy in. Oh, this is a long cable. And I don't know, is this a PlayStation 2 controller? Were they originally, did the analog sticks come out on PlayStation 2? I don't know. I'm going to plug this into port 1, not into port 2, like you've been doing on your Commodore for the last 10 years. If you just upgraded to one of these, I say upgrade, but it's not really the same thing. The Amiga's like a computer, and this isn't really, is it? Right, place your bets if this thing's going to work. Oh, I can hear something. Oh, it's got a signal. I can hear it, but I can't see it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Whoa, what's that? Was this the PlayStation menu? Seriously? Was this actually it? Or is this some chipped thing? CD player, memory card, and main menu. Someone needs to tell me. Is this a mod thing? Let's look at the CD player. This I can't believe this is Sony's actual menu. It just looks. I mean, it was 1994, but oh my word. Anyway, it's functional, and the sound's working. Right, what we're going to try first. This was the game I wanted to try, Carmageddon, and apparently it's awful on the PlayStation. So this is what we're going to do. Really sorry, but yeah, can somebody let me know? Is this the real menu? Seriously, I just don't believe it's the real menu. It just looks, it just looks so bad. It looks like it's oh, it is interlaced as well. I was going to say, I don't know if you can see that if you look at the word CD player, you can see it's flickering. It looks like an interlaced picture. And it is. The OSSC saying it's 625i. But yeah, these things were outputting 15,000. It says 15. The OSSC saying 15.62 kilohertz. So it's putting out 15,000 horizontal lines per second. And if you do the maths on that at 50 frames a second, you're not going to be able to get 625 lines out. So basically, it's interlaced. Same as the Amiga would do for this kind of thing, these consoles back then. Let's stick what is apparently the truly awful Carmageddon, because it's possible this CD drive doesn't work. Who knows? Let's wipe this scum off. Yeah, I didn't know that's the main menu, but can someone correct me? It just looks so weird. It's got like splashes of colour and stuff. I can hear it. Oh, it doesn't sound good. Oh, it's proper interlaced, yeah. It's proper like that flickery reminds me of the Amiga. Oh, it's working, but and it's now changed to so it's now gone out of interlaced mode. It's 314p now. So that's more like what I was expecting. 314p is basically what PAL systems would output. The Commodore 64 would output the same thing. Wow, look at this. Video intro. I think this at the time was pretty fancy. I remember when I went from the Amiga to the PC and they had video intros and I was like, really? You can do this on a computer? I mean, even though it looks terrible at the time, it looked pretty amazing. And it's not the worst intro ever, this. Oh, well, until I saw the sheep. Is he going to kill it? That's proper 3DS Max, that is. That's been done in Max. Oh, this would have taken somebody ages to do this. Somebody has to animate that sheep. How long does this go on for? That was kind of the box art. Oh, is he going to get the sheep? Come on. Oh, it just keeps going. Is this what they filled half the disc with? Yeah. The CD drive doesn't sound great, I've got to say. So we're back in interlace mode again now. You can see from the flicker. And now we're back in 240p mode. Right. Let's give it a go. So apparently this looks terrible and the frame rate's terrible. Oh, it's flicking between interlace mode and 314p progressive mode. And the problem is that the OSSC, or this monitor, the OSSC is handling it, but this monitor, I've got a Dell monitor, is taking a while to change over. So it's not great. Oh, wow. Right, what are the keys? I'm not sure. I've been run over by a car. It's not right trigger to accelerate. It's the X button. And the analog sticks aren't doing anything, so maybe they're just not compatible with this game. Oh, I just went straight off the road. Oh, it's got blood. I wasn't expecting that, actually. There's zombies, but it's got blood. How do you reverse? So it's weird. It's the X button and the square button. I'm totally wrecking my car already. I just completely wasted my car. Turbo zombies. The loading times aren't actually as good as I thought they'd be on PlayStation, but maybe this CD drive's not doing so well. But I suppose it's single speed CD, so it's not actually going to be that fast. Right, let's try that again, and let's just not mess about as much. And I was looking up the specs for the PlayStation. It was a MIPS processor at 33 megahertz. So that if you'd come from the Amiga to this would have been a massive step up in processing power. And it only had 3 megabytes of RAM, so that's 1 megabyte for video and then 2 megabytes of normal RAM. But again, that's still a step up for the Amiga for most people. So whoa, what's this guy doing? Do you know what? This actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I just can't remember where the tracks are. It's just quite hard because of the no analog sticks. Whoa! Yeah, it actually does. It just doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. The car is unsteerable, but yeah. So it didn't do perspective correction on textures, the PlayStation. So that's why you get all these wibbly textures. And at the time, to me, yeah, it basically looked awful because the PC could do it, even in software. Like the PC had enough grunt to be able to do that kind of thing. Quake had already shown us that it could do that. And then when the 3D effects cards and stuff came out, they could do it too. So this just looks, at the time it looked awful, but right now it doesn't look as bad. It now kind of looks retro. But yeah, the textures do wibble about a bit, let's face it. They do wibble. But you know what? The frame rate's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought the frame rate was going to be proper terrible, but actually, it's not that bad. I'm just having trouble finding the track, but I know in this game you don't technically have to race on the track. You can get time just for killing people, killing zombies. I think that's what we used to do when we played it. We'd just run around and wouldn't actually do the race. Cunning stunt. So it's weird that they've done zombies but had blood. On the PC version, I remember it was zombies with green blood. And on this version, they've gone for the red. But there was a patch on the PC. You just patched it into, oh no, hot rod. I say oh no, I mean oh good. Whoa. I think the lack of analog controls isn't really helping. Whoa! I just smashed my car up. The car damage in this was good as well. Do you know what? This isn't that bad. You know, I was told it was absolutely terrible, but you know what? The frame rate's alright. And I think that's what's making it alright. If the frame rate's not bad, then I can deal with the low resolution graphics. But again, if you'd come from PC to this... Oh no, grease tyres! If you'd come from PC to this, it would have been like quite bad. But you know what? I think looking at a game like that, and with the PlayStation being such a cheap console, you could see why it was popular, because for a few £100 you could play games of that quality, or you'd have to go up to like well over £1,000.
£1,000! He said it! I heard it from his mouth! Yes, £1,000. I won't pay it! It's absurd, £1,000!
To get this playing on a PC. So for most people, that was just completely out of the question. I mean, PCs are everywhere now, but at the time, they were pretty expensive. So to have a decent gaming PC at home meant you had to spend a lot of money. But everyone could probably get a PlayStation. Let's give that one more go. It totally works. So at some point, I'm going to, not in this video, I'll open this up and we'll have a look. We'll have a look at that. We'll do a separate video where we open it up, but and I'll play this a bit on some live streams and stuff, but I'll have a look, open it up on another video and we'll check out, well, clean it all up, see if it needs any servicing, like maybe the CD drive or something, and see what this mod is that's been done, assuming it's got a mod in it. I don't know. But yeah, I think the CD drive could probably do with a service, because it doesn't sound that great, unless they were always that bad. Because this other thing was obviously built to a price, not Commodore style built to a price, but still built to a price. Oh, I tell you what, the frame rate's a bit janky when there's lots of cars on the screen. Whoa! Am I supposed to go this way? No. I'm not exactly sure which way I'm supposed to go in this game. I'll just go this way. Wrong checkpoint. I like it. At least he's telling me. And I think in terms of the Amiga had really good sound when it came out. You know, 4-channel PCM sound. But come 1994 or 1992 when the Amiga 1200 came out, nothing had really changed. It still had 4-channel PCM sound. But the PlayStation, I think, said it's got 24-channel PCM sound. So you can see where, like, this had been, like, computers were on their way up, but Commodore hadn't changed. So I think this came out in the year that Commodore went bust. So this is what they were up against, and, you know, they hadn't kept up. Commodore hadn't kept up with the things that weren't Commodore, unfortunately.
Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
So yeah, it's unbelievable to think that Commodore went bust in the year that this came out. Or at least in Japan. I think it came out the year after in Europe. But yeah, I never gave the PlayStation a look, and I never wanted one because it was kind of cheap but inferior technology, and those are the boxes that it ticks. It was inferior, but it was cheap, and we see that all the time nowadays with you know, new consoles like Nintendo's consoles. They're not the best hardware out there, but they are cheap. I am not very good at this game. I can't actually tell where the road is. Let me just give it one more go. I just can't tell which way I'm supposed to be going. Like, it looks like the barriers are in the road instead of at the edge of the road, but maybe that's just me getting it wrong. Let's give it one go and see if I can actually finish the race. Although I know in Carmageddon that's not necessarily the goal. And it's unbelievable to think that it's kind of producing the same vertical number of, like, lines when you're actually playing a game. There are the same number of lines on the screen as there are on a Commodore 64. So that's where this, you know, this is like 10 years, 12 years after the Commodore 64, and we're still producing the same number of lines. And in theory, yes, it can do more. But same with the Amiga. The Amiga was doing the same thing. Right, this time, let's try and actually do a race. This isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, this game. But yeah, I think you'd be better off playing it on the PC, let's put it that way. And I remember the PC version could record QuickTime video in the game, I think. And I found, I'll have to edit it into this video, I found, as if I can get it to play, I probably can't, but I found a video that I had from back in the day where I'd got the car into, I got pinball mode going, and I did a little clip of it. So I've actually got an original clip that I made of Carmageddon from back in the day. Yeah, the perspective correction on the textures is pretty bad. Right, which way do you go here? This way? And they've knocked me off. And now there's... Oh my god. How do you recover the car? Don't know. It's not that. Recovery, there we go. You press the... I don't know what the names of the buttons are on PlayStation. I was going to say right bumper, but it's not called that. Yeah, it's like these are in the middle of the road, but we're going off-road here, aren't we? Let's try and find where the track is. This way? Seriously? That's the checkpoint. I didn't get it, did I? All right, okay. Yeah, the road is making no sense. But I don't remember. This wasn't the first course on the PC. Whoops. Crashing into lampposts. You can repair the car as well. I don't know how to repair the car. Oh, that car's alive. Extra armor. Oh, it doesn't steer very well. The track is like... Where are we going? This way? I mean, is it just me or am I just don't understand where the track is. Whoa. Extra power. It's apparently this way. The car's a bit sluggish on the steering. Ouch. Ouch. So yeah, I really don't understand the track. You'd probably just have to learn the track because I couldn't tell which way it was going. But that's not that bad. I think if I'd have had that back in the day and I hadn't seen the PC version, I probably wouldn't have been that... Oh! What did he do there? I wouldn't have been that upset. But yeah, the constantly changing between interlaced and progressive scan is screwing with the OSSC. It's screwing with my monitor. Hey, that's not that bad. I'll save any future games that we look at for live streams, but this appears to be a probably modded and totally working, but sounding a little bit strange PlayStation. So yeah, look out for some more of this. But I've got a PlayStation. I finally got my first PlayStation. Not just the first PlayStation, but my first PlayStation. And with this sweet pink controller. So yeah, look out for this thing in the future. And we'll be playing some of this on live stream. It's a Sony.